How is everyone doing today? Welcome back to another episode of The Banker Next Door. I am your host, Dr. Joe Berquist. Today, we're going to be taking a look at S&P Global's annual 2025 ranking of banks with the best deposit franchises. So this is I think it's actually an interesting list, but we're going to go through three articles here, basically looking at three different categories. We're going to be looking at the best U.S. community bank under $3 billion in asset size. We're going to be looking at the best large community bank between an asset size of $3 billion and $10 billion. And then we're going to be looking at the category for best large U.S. bank, basically over 50 billion in asset size. Let's see here. It's over 10 billion in asset size. So here is the first one here. So as competition for deposits remains fierce, a number of small banks with the best deposit franchises have been pursued by acquirers. So S&P Global Market Intelligence ranked the 100 top deposit businesses among banks with less than $3 billion in assets through the end of the second quarter of this fiscal year. And Dallas-based Titan Bank finished first, as it did in the previous rankings, which were based on data through the third quarter of 2024. The 639 million asset Titan, established in 1907, has stayed independent, but several other banks in the rankings have caught the attention of buyers, as deposits are often said to represent the true value of a banking franchise. Monahan's Texas-based forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, Tejas Bank finished third in both deposit rankings, and its parent, Sandhills Bankshares Inc., is being acquired by Maverick Bankshares Inc. Three more: DLP Bank, Bank of New Cambria, and Eastern Michigan Bank from the 2024 Small Business Deposit Franchise Top 100 have since been targeted for M&A, while two others, Country Club Bank and Stockman's National Bank in Cotulla, in the most recent top 100, also are targets of an announced merger. So we have here you can see here the three top deposit franchises. You know what? I'm going to blow this up just a little bit here so everybody can see that hopefully a little bit better. And we're going to go down here. So top three small U.S. community banks by deposit franchise size. Finishing first is Titan Bank. Second was Integrity Bank from Fowler, Kansas. Basically, this bank has gross loans and leases of $30.2 million, total deposits of $74 million. And then in third place was Tejas Bank from Monahan's, Texas. Basically, gross loans and leases $123.9 million and total deposits of $204 million. Titan Bank, like we said, finished first, has gross loans and leases of $338 million with total deposits of $568 million. Now, you may notice something here. All of these banks have what? They have more deposits than loans, meaning that they have a pretty low loan to deposit ratio, which again is a good thing. It means they're just have very, very strong deposit franchises. Now, they do have a list here they list out the top 100 small community banks. I'll just go through the rounding out the top 10. Number 4 was First Texas Bank. Number 5 was Texas Financial Bank. Number 6 was Mission Bank. Number 7, First National Bank of Anson, also in Texas. Number 8 was DLP Bank. And number 9, American Interstate Bank. And number 10, HCN Bank in Riverside, California. So there is your top 10 finishing there for small community bank deposit franchises. Now let's take a look at the large community bank deposits. So let's see here. So whole bank M&A and fintech partnerships help to boost many large community banks' deposits quality. S&P Global Market Intelligence ranked the 100 best deposit businesses among banks with total assets between $3 billion and $10 billion as of the end of the second quarter, and Stride Bank, a unit of Central Service Corp, topped the list again. Established over a century ago, Enid, Oklahoma-based Stride Bank operates with 9 brick-and-mortar branches and has experienced significant growth, expanding to $3.82 billion in total assets as of June 30th, from $1.12 billion at the end of 2020, largely attributed to strategic partnerships with fintech companies. Recently, the bank announced its partnership with Affirm Holdings, Inc. to support the Affirm card. Like Stride Bank, many of the top 50 deposit franchises among large community banks use strategic growth initiatives to boost their deposit quality. quality. 4 offered banking as a service, 5 completed a whole bank deal during the 12 months ended June 30th, and 8 had an uninsured deposit concentration of greater than 50% at the end of the second quarter. Recognizing that deposits represent the core value of a banking franchise, the rankings rewarded institutions that were less affected by interest rate volatility, relied minimally on borrowings and certificates of deposit for funding, and employed more streamlined operational frameworks. So we can see here again our top 3 for large U.S. community banks by deposit franchise. Number 1, Stride Bank, which finished with gross loans and leases of $3.43 billion and total deposits of $3.42 billion. In second place was Fidelity Bankshares, had total loans and leases of $2.76 billion and total deposits of $3.86 billion. And then in third place, Amalgamated Financial Corp in New York had gross loans and leases of $4.72 billion and total deposits of $7.74 billion. Now, again, as we go down here, we do have, it does list out the top 50 largest community banks by deposit franchise. We had our top 3. I'll round out the top 10. So number 4 was Bank of Marin Bancorp in California, American Business Bank, also in Los Angeles, California, the Bancorp Inc. in Wilmington, Delaware, although the Bancorp Bank. Number 7 was Capital City Bank Group in Tallahassee, Florida. Number 8 was California Bank of Commerce in San Diego, California. Number 9, Community West Bank in Fresno, California. And then number 10 was First Community Bankshares in Bluefield, Virginia. So, and again, I just like to point out, the number 3 bank here, Amalgamated Bank in New York, very interesting bank. They have a very, I would describe them as a very niche bank. I'll have to go into more detail about them at some point because they do have a very different, I'll call it that way, a very different kind of brand there. And then let's take a look at the largest deposit franchises. Now, what's interesting about this particular article is that I think the title of it's a little weird because it says M&A is the key driver for many of the best deposit franchises, which is true, but the focus is on the top deposit franchises. So a number of large banks with the strongest deposit franchises have bolstered their offering through acquisition in recent years, despite lower valuations and fewer deals. According to S&P Global Market Intelligence ranking of the 50 best business deposit businesses among banks with total assets exceeding $10 billion as of the end of the second quarter of 2025, 13 institutions have completed at least one whole bank deal within the past 2 years, while 2 banks have completed deals since the conclusion of the second quarter. As of August 27th, 8 of the top 50 deposit franchises have pending whole bank deals. S&P Global Market Intelligence analyzed 149 institutions in the large bank category of those with total assets above $10 billion at the end of the second quarter. On aggregate, deposits grew 5.3% for these banks over the 12 months ended June 30th, 2025, compared to 4.6% for the banking industry. Since deposits represent the true value of a banking franchise, the rankings reward banks that are less sensitive to interest rate fluctuations, institutions that rely less on borrowings and certificates of deposit for funding, and those that operate with more efficient frameworks. EB Acquisitions Company, parent company of Mechanics Bank, took the crown as the best deposit franchise among banks with at least $10 billion in total assets at the end of the second quarter. Mechanics Bank, established in 1907, had $16.58 billion in total assets as of June 30th. The bank announced its acquisition of Home Street Inc. in a reverse merger transaction on March 31st. The company anticipates being 100% core funded, while all Federal Home Loan Bank advances and broker deposits from the acquisition of Home Street will be paid by year end, according to the March 31st M&A deal call. We have a long-held belief that deposit cost is the best determinant of a bank's franchise value. So our core funded franchise with no wholesale funding or broker deposits is certainly emblematic of that. Mechanics Bank Chairman Carl Webb said during the call. EB acquisition outperformed the median for the 149 companies across 7 of the 8 metrics analyzed. It fell short on 8 quarter average deposit growth, which stood at negative 0.9% compared to a median of 0.8%. Still, all things considered, that's pretty incredible that they've been able to get that much in deposits without having to rely at all on any kind of wholesale borrowing from their Federal Home Loan Bank line or utilizing any type of broker deposits. So, but here is our top three here for large U.S. banks by deposit franchise. So again, the first place is EB Acquisitions Company, which is Mechanics Bank, that ended with gross loans and leases of $9.24 billion and total deposits of $13.9 billion. Just absolutely phenomenal. Second place was CVB Financial Corp. With gross loans and leases of $8.36 billion, total deposits of $11.98 billion. And third place belonged to First Financial Bankshares in Texas with gross loans and leases of $8.11 billion and total deposits of $12.45 billion. So, and then we go down here, it does give us the list of the top 50 U.S. banks, and I'm going to go through round out the top 10. So First Bancorp in North Carolina was number 4. Arvis Bank Group in Bentonville, Arkansas was number 5. Stellar Bank Corp from Houston, Texas was number 6. Farmers and Merchants Bank of Long Beach from Long Beach, California was number 7. Banner Corp from Walla Walla was number 8. And then International Bankshares Corp, also from Texas, was number 9. And finally, NBT Bank Corp from New York was number 10. So that rounded out our top 10 of the top 50 largest U.S. banks by deposit franchise. So again, I think this is a really good study from S&P Global, and I really think it does a great job of showing you some of the best banks in the country. So EB Acquisitions, Mechanics Bank, and then we go back to Stride Bank, and then we go back to Titan Bank. So, 3 just excellently performing banks, different category sizes, but still great performing banks across the country. I applaud them for winning their first place prizes here, and keep up the good work out there, as it were. But with that being said, I will wrap up this episode by saying, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. That helps the channel. Remember, we are on YouTube, Rumble, and all major podcast platforms. Please be sure to leave your comments down below, as I always love getting back to everybody. And as always, make sure to check out some of the other content on the channel. I thank you so much for listening. Have a great day out there, and I will see everyone again real soon.